Hello class, today we are taking a look at some dividing fractions symbolically practice. So our basic rule for dividing fractions symbolically is to multiply by the reciprocal. What that means is to keep your first fraction the same. So 6 over 8 is still 6 over 8. The multiply part of multiply by the reciprocal means change divide to multiply. And the reciprocal means our fraction flipped. So 1 was on the top, it'll now be on the bottom. And 4 was on the bottom, it's going to flip to the top. After we've rewritten the question in this way, we can follow our normal multiplication steps, which would be to multiply the top by the top and the bottom by the bottom. 6 times 4 is 24, and 8 times 1 is 8, and of course we simplify. So when we simplify, both of these numbers can be divided by 8, and that'll give us 3 over 1. And of course the simplest form of 3 over 1 is just 3. 3 divided by 1 is 3. Now notice that once we do our flip and multiply, we could also do some of our simplifying tricks to assist us with our question. So while these numbers weren't very big, you may notice that we could have simplified this fraction here. 6 over 8 is equivalent to 3 over 4. And of course 3 over 4 times 4 over 1 gives us 12 over 4, which is that same answer of 3. And so on and so forth. We could also do some cancellation of our 8 and our 4 if we wanted to. Let's take a look at question B. We do need to use our rewrite tricks. So the whole number 4 is 4 over 1. And now we can rewrite by multiplying by the reciprocal. So we have our 4 over 1 stays the same. Our divide is going to change to multiply. And our second fraction is going to flip. So 2 over 5 becomes 5 over 2. Let's multiply that out. So 4 times 5 on the top and 1 times 2 on the bottom. 4 times 5 is 20 and 1 times 2 is 2. And then we can simplify by dividing by 2. Gives us 10 over 1, which is just 10 in simplest form. In question C, I'm going to start by simplifying. I notice that 12 and 16 can both divide by 4, and that'll give me the simpler form fraction, 3 over 4, divided by 3. Now you might see from this already that 3 over 4 divided by 3 is going to be 1 over 4. 3/4 divided into 3 groups will be 1/4 in each group. But of course we could follow our flip and multiply rule. So our first fraction stays the same, our divide changes to multiply, and our 3, which is really 3 over 1, is going to change into 1 over 3. From here, I'm going to cross out my common factor of 3 on the top and bottom. I'm really dividing by 3 on the top and bottom. That'll leave me with 1 over 4 as my answer. In question D, I cannot simplify this first fraction, and I can't simplify the second fraction, so I'm going to go ahead and do my multiply by the reciprocal. First fraction stays the same, divide changes to multiply, second fraction flips. Now that I'm at this multiplying step, though, there is some simplifications I can do. So I notice that 14 and 7 can both divide by 7. And you might also notice that 10 and 25 can both divide by 5. And so that'll give us the simple form question. 14 divided by 7 is 2 over 5. And 10 divided by 5 is 2. And 7 divided by 7 is 1. And this is a lot easier to complete. 2 times 2 is 4, 5 times 1 is 5, 4/5 is our simplest form answer. Going back up to question E, we're again going to use our rewrite tricks. So 8 is 8 over 1. And for my for my mixed number, I need to convert that to an improper fraction. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So we'll rewrite this as 8 over 1 divided by 8 over 3. And then we'll use our multiply by the reciprocal rule. So 8 over 1 will still be 8 over 1. Multiply will change to times. And 8 over 3 will flip to be 3 over 8. I'm going to divide out my common factor of 8. And that will leave me with 1 over 1 times 3 over 1. 1 times 3 is 3, and 1 times 1 is 1, and 3 over 1 is just 3. In question F, I'm going to start by simplifying. So my 16 and 28 both can divide by 4. and that will give me 4 over 7. I need to divide that by, my second fraction can also simplify, so I'll divide by 2, and that will give me 4 over 7. And I could do my flip and multiply technique, my multiply by the reciprocal technique here, but I know that any number divided by itself will be 1. And of course, I do get that answer if I do do my multiply by the reciprocal technique. I'll have 4/7 multiplied by 7 over 4. My 7s will cancel out, and my 4s will cancel out. And remember, when they're canceling, they become just 1s, because we're really dividing by that number. And so we'll get that answer of 1 either way. In question G, I'm going to start by simplifying. So my 35 and my 42 can both divide by 7, both multiples of 7. That'll give me 5 over 6 divided by 25, and I'll also take a moment to rewrite that 25 as 25 over 1. Now that I've simplified, I'm going to use my multiply by the reciprocal trick. So I'll keep my first fraction, I'll change divide to multiply, and I'll flip my second fraction. And here I'm going to simplify my 5 and 25. And that will give me 1 over 6 times 1 over 5. And that will give me 1 over 30 once I multiply top by top and bottom by bottom. In question H, I'm going to need to start by converting this mixed number to an improper fraction. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 5 is 17 sixths. Need to divide that by 17 over 18. We're going to go ahead and use our multiply by the reciprocal rule. So we'll leave our first fraction alone. We'll change divide to multiply, flip our second fraction. I'm going to go ahead and divide out that common factor of 17 at this stage. That's going to give me 1 over 6 times 18 over 1. And that's going to give me 18 over 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. On the back page, we're going to start by simplifying our fraction here. 15 and 20 can both divide by 5, and that'll give me the mixed number 4 and 3/4 to divide by 2 and 1/4. I'm going to convert each of these to an improper fraction next. So 4 times 4 is 16, plus 3 is 19/4. I'm also going to, let's leave it divide for now. I have to convert this other one. So 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9/4. And now we'll go ahead and flip and multiply. So we'll keep our 19 over 4, we'll change divide to multiply, and we'll flip our second fraction. At this stage, I'm going to divide out the common factor of 4 on the top and bottom, and that gives me my simplest form answer of 19 over 9. In question I, I'm again going to start by simplifying. 13 and 39 are both multiples of 13. So that'll give me the simpler form mixed number 1 and 1/3 divided by 3. And I can also convert that mixed number to an improper fraction. So 1 times 3 is 3, plus 1 is 4/3. We need to divide that by 3 over 1. So we'll rewrite that whole number. And now we'll multiply by the reciprocal. So keep your first fraction, change divide to multiply, flip your second fraction. 4 times 1 on top and 3 times 3 on the bottom gives us 4 over 9. And that is our simplest form answer. In question K, we're going to start by simplifying. Both 49 and 56 are multiples of 7. So I'm going to start by simplifying that fraction. So 49 divided by 7 is 7. And 56 divided by 7 is 8. We need to divide that by the second fraction. I'm going to look to simplify that one as well. Both of these are multiples of 3. So 21 divided by 3 is 7, and 36 divided by 3 is 12. We're going to go ahead and use our multiply by the reciprocal rule. So our first fraction will stay the same, change divide to multiply, flip our second fraction. Now that we're multiplying, I'm going to divide out my common factor of 7. on the top and bottom, and that will give me 12 over 8. And I can simplify that fraction by dividing by 4, and that'll give me 3 over 2 in simplest form. Going back up, we'll finish up with our question L. So we're going to rewrite our 21 as 21 over 1. Now we'll go ahead and we'll multiply by the reciprocal. So we'll flip our 3 over 14 into 14 over 3. And I could do this multiplication as is. I am going to notice that 21 and 3 share a common factor of 3 that I can divide out. And that'll keep my numbers a little bit easier. So that'll give me 7 over 1 times 14 over 1. And this is a little bit easier to work with. I still have a little bit of multiplication to do, but no simplification at the end. So 7 times 14, 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 1 plus 2 is 9. This is 98 over 1, which is 98. In question M, I'm again going to look to simplify to start. So 18 and 45 share a common factor of 9, and we'll simplify that out. 18 divided by 9 is 2, and 45 divided by 9 is 5. We need to divide that by 27. So we're going to write out 27 as 27 over 1, and now we'll multiply by the reciprocal. So leave your first fraction, change divide to multiply, flip your second fraction. There's no further simplification I'm going to be able to do here, so I am just going to need to multiply out. So I'll do my 27 times my 5. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. So I'm going to get my 2 times 1 over 5 times 27 gives me 2 over 135. And that'll be my simplest form answer. I know that 135 doesn't divide by 2 because it's not even, but also there was no simplification I could do in this step, no cancellations or anything. So I know there's no common factors on the top and bottom of question M. Taking a look at question N, we're again going to look to simplify. 27 and 33 are both multiples of 3, so I'll divide that out. That'll give me 9 over 11. And then I'm going to flip and multiply here, so we're going to do times, and then our fraction is going to flip, so 9 on top and 11 on the bottom. There's no simplification or cancellations I'm going to be able to do there, so I'll just have 9 times 9 over 11 times 11. That'll give me 81 over 121. I know that those won't simplify because there's no factors on the top that also appear on the bottom. So, bunch of division questions there. Doing them symbolically, you want to watch for those simplifications, those cancellations, just to keep your numbers a little bit more manageable. There might be a little bit of long multiplication we have to do, but we should be trying to avoid it by using our rewriting tricks before we go into our division or our multiplication process. So I hope that's helped you with some of the tricks and some of the ways to divide fractions symbolically.